All right, so for this one, we are going to create a printable name tag. So we're going to go up here to create. Here's a document. Call it name tag, and then put your name on it. So that way we know who's turning in what. So from there, we're going to create. All right, we're going to create our sketch. Again, Shift S, click on the top plane, and then hit N. You should be used to that by now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a rectangle. So I'm going to hit R, which is going to give me a center point rectangle. We're going to start it right here at the center. Doesn't matter what we're going to do yet. Type it in. Let's go 120, and let's go 40. 120 by 40. Okay. So from here, we're actually going to add a sketch fillet, which is going to round these edges. So I'm going to click on sketch fillet. I'm going to zoom in so it's a little easier to see what we're doing. Click on this line and click on this line, and it's going to create a radius there. I can drag this. Okay. We can click once. We're going to go ahead and leave it at 5 millimeters. We'll go down here to the other corners, and we're going to do the same. Again, once you have your number set, you can just click. I can go over to this corner, click and click and click. And since I clicked off, I made a mistake. It needs to go back to 5. All right, so now I have a little badge for our name tag. I'm going to, from here, we're actually going to add a little outer edge. So I'm going to click this offset tool, which is the letter O, or this shape. And again, if you can't find any of the tools we're looking for, you have some options. One, you can click these little down arrows. Sometimes that icon will change based on what you used last. You can also go over here to search tools, search for the tool we're looking for, offset, and click it. This is going to add an outside line. Oh, I didn't select my tool. Offset. So right now it wants to take this and go inside. I'm going to take this arrow and we're going to go outside with it. And I'm going to double click on my number here and we're going to make that 2 millimeters. So now if I click off, you'll see I have the inside shape. That's what we did first. And then this outside shape as well. And 2 is actually going to be a little too big. I'm going to go 1.2. The reason being is because that's going to be the thickness of our actual lines when we 3D print it, so it'll be perfect. There won't be any extra infill, and it will print a little faster. Okay, from here, our badge is set. Okay, what I need to do is I need to extrude. We're going to do a couple different heights here, though. So I'm going to do Shift E. Again, that's the extrude button up here. We're going to click on the inside. This is just going to be the bottom of it, and we're going to go 1.2. Okay, that's going to give us just enough thickness to actually be able to hold it and for it to print and not be too thin. All right, now notice my sketch turned off, so I'm going to go back and turn that sketch back on. We need to use it again. I'm going to use the extrude tool one more time, and now this time I'm going to select this outside edge. And no, we don't want 25, but we're going to go, let's go 3. 3 will work just fine. As you see here, now we have a tiny little tray, if you will. We have an outside edge. Okay. All right. So that is the badge portion. We are going to put a sketch on the inside here. So I'm going to hit Shift S or go up to the sketch tool. Okay. Shift S. I'm going to go inside here. Don't click on the outside. I want this sketch to be on top of that bottom of the tag, but it's not on the top plane. It's actually on the tag itself. All right, so I can hit N, and from here we're going to use a text box. I'm going to go, see these little points that it created when we did our fillets? So I'm going to click on this box and go over to here. That might mess some things up here in a little bit, but we'll fix it later. I'm going to put my name. When you have time, you can go through. There's some fonts here. What you want to be careful of, though, is if I choose this one, let me just go ahead and select it. You can kind of see these little tiny serifs, these little tiny details on the outside edge. With the size of what we're doing, when we shrink this name down so it fits on the tag, which you can see that we've got an error here when we attached it to all 4 of those points, so we need to go back and fix that. But anyway, these serifs are going to be so small when we print this that they won't print. This is too small for the detail is too much. So you need to be careful on what font you choose, and I can help you decide if that's going to work or not. So I'm going to go back a step. We're going to get rid of this sketch, put a new sketch on this plane. We're going to do our text box, and the reason that did not work is because, so I'm going to hold down shift when I do it this time, but I'm going to use those boxes as a guide, which it doesn't really matter because we can resize our text at any time. I'm going to type my name in again. I'm going to change my font, just kind of go through. You really want something that's bold. It just makes it print a little better. You do have the option to go bold here. It was pretty boring. Watch someone else select font, so I'm going to be done with that. All right, so now you see that this does not fit on the tag. We have two things we can do. We could select the height. Okay, notice that I can't like resize it like you're used to. So what I have to do is I have to give it a dimension. So if I use my dimension tool, which is the letter D, or this arrow with two lines on the side, I can click on the top here and the bottom here and tell it what height. Right now it's 29. Well, that's too big. So what if I go to 20? I can say, okay, well, that works. I could also, since I know that from this line here to this line here is 120 based on when we drew the rectangle, if I use that dimension tool and I go from this side here to this side here, I know that I could try 120, but 120 is probably going to be a little too big. So I can go and say, okay, well, 115 I know is going to fit. So if I click off of that, I should be able to. Why it's not letting me grab anything right now. I must have snapped it to something on accident. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the letter I, which is this little button here, and it's going to snap this point to our center line, and it's going to shift it over. So see how some of these lines turn white? That means they are fully defined. So now I know that my name is centered on my name tag. Okay. So from here, I'm going to click OK, and now I'm going to extrude, and I can notice how everything's turning orange. If I do that, it's going to grab everything. Okay. If I sometimes it'll let you, grab them each individually. So if I wanted each of these letters a little different height, I could do that. But for our printing, we're going to go everything at 3 millimeters. Okay. However, it's not 3 millimeters. We want it to be the same height as this outside edge, which this was 3 millimeters from the ground. Okay, from that top plane. Notice, remember we put our sketch on top of the tag, which was 1.2 millimeters. So I'm going to do some math here, and that's going to be 1.8. And now I should have the top of my text, a little difficult to see, top of my text is at the same plane or height as the outside edge. Another thing that you could do if you wanted, when you draw your text boxes, so let me go back. Let me just turn this extrude. Let me just delete this extrude real quick. And I'm just going to hide the sketch and put a new sketch on and show you what you can do. You could create a bunch of text boxes and just put one letter at a time in there. This would give you some more freedom with, you could start to overlap these or make them a little closer together. Okay, let's just do one more letter just so you can see, get an idea. Come on, can't move that. All right, so from here then I could extrude, and you'll see, nope, keep that, extrude that, extrude that. Oh, it doesn't like this little overlap here. If I make them new, I bet it will work just fine. Yeah, so if you make them new instead of add, so sometimes you get some overlaps, And you'll notice part of this G here is missing because there's another little section here, and same thing on the E, which you could leave those alone, or you could add them back in. Okay, you can select everything. But now, because I've got little overlaps, it just gives it a little different style. Totally up to you. But again, you want this to be 1.8 millimeters so that it is the same height here. Again, that is for ease of printing and speed. Okay, we don't want each of these to take 3 hours. So, all right, go ahead and fill out your name tag. It could be your name, first name, last name, full name, nickname, but beware that if you add a whole bunch of letters on here, all of those letters are going to be really, really small, and then it's not going to look as good. So you can get some more room if you squeeze these together. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know.